Hi everyone, today we are going to continue with our module Project Earth. We will finish our text Parrots over Puerto Rico today. For our learning target, I can analyze how text structure contributes to the author's purpose. So there are a couple things that we're going to need to know for text structure. When we think about the text structure, there are different ways that an author can set up the text. Are they using comparison and contrast to show us how two things are alike and different? Are they using cause and effect to explain what happened and why it happened? Are they setting up a section in sequential or logical order? Or are they showing a problem and then showing how it was resolved with a solution? The other thing that we're going to be thinking about is author's purpose. So with author's purpose, we think about pie. Is the author trying to persuade? Is the author trying to inform or entertain? So are they trying to convince you of something with persuasive? Are they trying to tell you facts about a situation with inform? Or are they trying to entertain you by telling you a story that is of interest to you? So we're going to ponder that as we are reading different sections. Wild parrots squawked as scientists gently placed chicks from the aviary in their nests so that the chicks could learn how to live in the wild. In 1979, the very first chick raised in the aviary flapped out of a wild nest into the rainforest. The scientists worked hard to keep the parrots healthy, both the captive and the wild birds. One chick was rescued from the wild after its wings were badly damaged by gooey slime inside the nest. The scientists rebuilt the baby parrot's wings using old discarded parrot feathers, pins, and glue. Then they watched the parrot use its new wings to fly for the first time. By the end of 1979, there were 15 captive parrots. Most had come from eggs and chicks taken from wild nests to the aviary. Hurricane Hugo roared through the treetops of Puerto Rico in 1989. Iguaca, Iguaca. The parrots called as the winds blew down many of their tall trees. The hurricane wiped out crops and wrecked buildings and homes. In the aviary, the scientists worried about all the parrots. What if another bad hurricane blew down more trees? What if the aviary was damaged? Iguaca, Iguaca. A group of parrots squawked as scientists moved them from Ukiyo Aviary to a new aviary in Rio Abajo forest. This forest is less humid than El Yunque, and many parrots had once lived there. Now there were two safe places for captive parrots to live and raise chicks. Rio Abajo Aviary opened in 1993. It had some challenges. Thunderstorms sometimes caused incubators to lose power. The scientists found generators that kept the power flowing to the incubators. The scientists also tried some new ideas. They kept more aggressive pairs of parrots away from gentler ones, so the gentler birds would not be frightened. They also caged young parrots with adults, so the birds could see how adult parrots behave. The number of parrots in the aviary grew. By 1999, Rio Abajo Aviary had 54 Puerto Rican parrots. The recovery program was ready for the next part of its plan, releasing adult parrots raised in captivity into the wild. So we're going to pause at this page, and I'd like you to reread paragraphs 36 through 38. And you're going to look to see what text structure is the author using in this section. How are they setting it up? Is it compare and contrast? Is it problem and solution? Is it sequential order? Or is it cause and effect? And I want you to think about what it's mostly. And you might find that there's one or two that you could make a reason for and support your answer with reasons. And there's not really a right or wrong answer. There's one that I'm not sure that you can make as much of an argument for, but all of the rest, I suspect you can make a sound argument. So then we're going to look here. In 2000, 10 captive bred parrots were released into El Yunque. It was late spring. The wild chicks had already flown from their nests, and the wild adults were still nearby, where the captive bred parrots could see them and join them. Iguaca, Iguaca, the parrots called as they flew with the newcomers and searched for food. The captive bred parrots had been trained to find food and avoid hawks, but many were caught by hawks anyway. So before the next 16 parrots were released in 2001, they were given extra training. They heard a hawk whistle as the cutout shape of a hawk was passed over the cages. They watched a trained hawk attack a Hispaniolan parrot that was wearing a protective leather jacket. In time, the parrots learned to stay still or hide if a hawk was nearby. When these parrots were released, more of them survived in the wild. The scientists were ready to create a second wild flock. In 2006, 22 captive bred parrots were released in Rio Abajo Forest. The newly released birds formed pairs, found nesting boxes, and raised their chicks. Dozens of parrots had been raised in Rio Abajo since then, and they have begun to spread throughout the forest. If you look up from the forest, and you are very lucky, you might catch the bright blue flashes of flight feathers. These are Puerto Rican parrots. They lived on this island for millions of years. And then they nearly vanished from the earth forever. But they are flying over Puerto Rico still, calling Iguaca, Iguaca. So we're going to look at our essential question again. How can caring for Earth and its living things improve life now and in the future? And I want you to take a moment and think about the story that we've just read over the last few days. What do you know about protecting parrots and how that can improve life now and for the future? And then you're going to open your Into Reading book and add onto your knowledge map, protecting Earth and its living things, and what it means to protect resources, what we've learned about that, and using fewer resources. So you can add onto your knowledge map by adding in words or small pictures to show what your thinking is. Have a great day, everyone.